Hello, everyone. Welcome to part two. Let's just jump right into it. And we're reading the Philokalia. Introduction to the Philokalia, Volume 1. And I apologize to if my poor pronunciations grinds anyone's ears. Okay, so Introduction to the Philokalia, Volume 1. Indicated this either in introductory notes to the text in questions or in footnotes, but in no case have excised any such passage or section on the grounds that it is not by the author to whom Saint Nicodemus had attributed. The distinction between genuine and spurious, where all these writings are concerned, must rest not on the correctness of the attribution of their authorship, but on whether they belong to such spiritual tradition which the collection as a whole represents. All the texts in the original Philokalia are in Greek, and all except two were first written in Greek, and even these two, written originally in Latin, were translated into Greek in Byzantine times. But the influence of the work has by no means been confined to the Greek speaking world. It was Pi um this guy's name where he lived. A Russian monk who was who visited Mount Athos and later settled in Moldavia, who first translated a selection of the text into Slavonic, published with the title. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but Dobro something at Moscow in the year 1793 and reprinted at Moscow in the year 1822. This was the translation carried by the pilgrim in the way of the pilgrim, and indeed the impact of the Philokalia on Russian spirituality and culture in the 19th century was immense. As the writings of Dostoevsky and um, assiduous reader of the book alone sufficiently testify. Alone sufficiently testify. Yep. The translation into Russian was made by Ignaty Branik Braniknov in 1807 to 1867 and was published in around 18 something. Yet another Russian translation, still with the title of the previous one, the previous Russian one, was made by Bishop Theophan the Recluse in 1815, the years he lived, who included it in several texts not in the original Greek edition and deliberately omitted or paraphrased certain passages in some of the texts of the Greek edition. Bishop Theophan's translation was published at Moscow in 5 volumes at the expense of the Russian monastery at Saint Panteleimon on Mount Athos. The first volume of the series, originally issued in 1877, was reprinted in 4 times. A photographic reprint of the 1883 edition was begun by the Monastery of the Holy Trinity in Jordanville, New York in 1963. A Romanian translation, which also includes additional material, began to appear in 1946 under the editorship of Father D. Whatever guys could, tell me how it's pronounced. In 1976, the 5th volume of this edition appeared, and it is planned to complete it in 8 volumes, a full French translation in progress, both the Romanian and in Finch translations. Flinch? I don't know. Translations. Do they mean Finnish? Oh, Okay, I'm not gonna go to that. And based on the original Greek, I'm just gonna reread that sentence. Both the Romanian and the translations are based on the original Greek. The only previous translation into English of the text from. I'm wondering why it just cuts off like that. It's not completing its thought. So, like, I have no idea what it's trying to do. And why are there so many introductions into the Philokalia? Okay, I'm just gonna skip all that and I'm just gonna go straight into the first introductory note because that is a lot. It's like several different ones. And frankly, I'm not reading it. But Anchor might right. Callisto Square. All right. Saint Isaiah the Solitary. There is some uncertainty about the identity of the author of the 27 texts that follow. According to St. Nicodemus, St. Isaiah the Solitary lived around the year 370 and was a contemporary of Macarius the Great of Egypt. Most historians today consider him to be later in date. He is now usually identified with a monk who lived initially in the Skies of Egypt, who then moved to Palestine at some date subsequent to 431, eventually dying in a great old age as a recluse near Gaza on August 11th, the year 1491, and an earlier date according to others. Whichever date is preferred, it is evident that the author reflects the authentic spirituality of the desert fathers of Egypt and Palestine during the 4th and 5th centuries. St. Nicodemus commends, in particular, his advice on the rebuttal of demonic provocations and on the need to be attentive to the conscious. St. Nicodemus here gives no more than short extracts from a much longer work as yet untranslated into English. That sucks. All right. And now we get straight into the meat of it in the next episode. I feel like one of those Saturday morning cartoons when they force you to wait for the main part that you're watching the whole show for later. But hey, till next time.